Hello, good morning. Come on, let us continue the classification of hormones. There are three criteria are there in the classification of hormones. One criteria we have gone through in the last session, that is its composition. According to the composition, means nothing but makeup, hormones are several types. One is amino acid derivative, second one is a peptide or protein derivative, third one is steroidal or lipid derivative, and other are glycoproteins and eicosanoids. What is the second criteria to classify the hormones? Is solubility. Some hormones are soluble in water and the rest of hormones are soluble in the fats. Third criteria to classify the hormones is their actions. If you take two hormones, one hormone action complement or support promotes other hormone action. Contrast to that, one hormone action is absolutely opposite to other hormone action. So let us see. Criteria 1 is composition. According to composition, amino acid derivative, peptide or protein derivative or steroid derivative and glycoprotein derivative and eicosanoids. That is a rough structure. And second criteria today we are going to learn about, that is solubility. According to the solubility, hormones are of two types: water soluble and lipid soluble. Detailedly we will learn. The third criteria is about their actions. According to the hormonal actions, there are two types: synergistic hormones, antagonistic hormones. Synergistic hormones means one hormone action is promoting another hormone action, both are coordinating, means one helps others promotions. Antagonistic actions are against. One hormone action is against to another hormone. So these two we are going to learn in detail today. So let us see the criteria, that is the hormones according to the solubility. There are two types. One is water soluble hormones, against to that fat soluble hormones. Lipid soluble hormones. So some hormones can dissolve in fats so that they can react. Some hormones cannot dissolve in the fat, so they can dissolve in only water. If we talk about the first point about the water soluble and the simultaneous regarding the lipid soluble, the first point is these hormones can interact with the membrane receptors. Membrane receptors means what? Cell membrane receptors. Cell membrane receptor. Suppose if it is the target, listen carefully. If it is the target and this is the source of hormone, nothing but some endocrine gland. From this endocrine gland through blood some hormone has been released. This hormone can reach till the cell membrane, not into the cell. Remember, whenever that hormone is regarding water soluble, so that hormone can reach till cell membrane, not into the cell. That's why here written they interact with the membrane receptors. Such membrane receptors are present cell membrane, so they are membrane receptors. Same case if we see here, if this is the cell and this is a cell membrane, these hormones from their sources to the target, they will come and can interact inside the cell. Means what? Intracell receptors. So inside some receptors are there for them. They are called intracell receptors. Intra means what? Inside. They are extra. So that intracellular receptors they interact with. So here point we have to make like they can react with the membrane receptors. That membrane receptors are extracellular membrane receptors. E means extra, C means cellular, M means membrane, and R means receptors. Whereas they are intracellular membrane receptors. So lipid soluble hormones are able to get inside the cell and they are interacting with the inside cell receptors, but they are interacting with the outside cell receptors. This is a very fundamental difference between the hormones that are soluble in water as well as hormones that are soluble in the lipid or steroidal hormones. So external receptor and hormone can react here, but here no external receptor is involved. Second thing, they do their actions by the help of secondary messengers. What are secondary messengers? Hormone is chemical messenger, but here you are first time listening secondary messenger. In this case, a hormone can enter the cell so that they can do their actions inside the cell. But here they would like to do their actions inside, but they do not allowed by the cell membrane, but they can contact the external cell membrane receptor. Then something nothing but CAMP means cyclic adenine monophosphate, calcium ions, IP inorganic phosphate, like some chemicals in the cell cope up their actions by some reactions. They are also called cascade reactions, one after one some reactions, serial reactions can be taken, then their actions will be done. I repeat, as they are interacting inside the cell, they do not have or they do not need any kind of help from any kind of chemical substances. So they do their actions by own. Reason, they can approach inside the cell. But when we talk about water soluble hormones, as these hormones do not have access to interact directly into the inside the cell receptors, they have only accessibility till the cell membrane receptor. Then some chemicals required to cope up or continue their actions till they function. Such chemicals are called secondary messengers. Example, CAMP. CAMP means cyclic adenine monophosphates. In further classes we will learn about it. And calcium ions and some magnesium, inorganic phosphate. So many are there. They are called secondary messengers. Secondary messengers are involved in only water soluble hormonal actions. Whereas in the lipid soluble hormonal actions, secondary messengers do not require. Do not require. And we have seen the two differences that are main differences between the water soluble and lipid soluble. What is the first one? Water soluble hormonal actions towards the target tissue, yes, but they cannot enter the cell. They interact with the external cell membrane receptor. That's it. But here, lipid soluble hormones can directly go into the cell. Reason why they are going means why lipid soluble hormones are interacting inside the cell. Why not water soluble? Just you recall the previous sessions. Cell membrane is made up of lipid layer. Cell membrane is made up of lipid layer and this hormone is lipid soluble. So that this hormone directly soluble in the cell membrane that was made up of a lipid layer, so that have direct accessibility. That is the only reason. Whereas water soluble hormone do not made up of lipid, so that they are against lipid. So if they are against lipid means cell membrane do not allow them. That's the reason. And second point, they need some accessory structures, nothing but secondary messengers. Those are present inside the cell. They help these hormonal actions. So as they have accessibility directly inside, they do not need. What are the secondary messengers? Do not require in case of hormones that are lipid soluble. Let us say other differences. The water soluble hormonal actions that are very fast and short lived. Here they are very slow and long lived. Their main function is they helps in the gene expression and regulation. Why? Because these hormones are interact with the chromosomal content. Chromosomal content, where chromosomes are present inside the nucleus. So directly they are interact with the nucleic membrane receptors. What is the main function of here? They involved in the metabolic activities. Metabolic activities. Generation of some glucose and controlling of chemicals inside the blood. So many activities by water soluble hormones. And gene expression and their regulation is the main function of lipid soluble. Moreover, one should observe that these actions, water soluble hormonal actions, are very fast. So they are very quicker, so that their span is very short. Where as they are interacting with the nucleus, chromosome, their actions are very long. Maybe for next generation also their actions can be go. So they are slow and steady and long lived. If you see some examples in the fourth, examples for water soluble hormones. The first one is catecholamines. Catecholamines. What are catecholamines? Adrenaline, noradrenaline, or epinephrine, norepinephrine. These are belongs to catecholamines. All these are water soluble. Means their actions outside the cell. They need secondary messengers. Number 2, all peptide and protein derived hormones. Hormones though derived from the peptide or protein are also water soluble hormones. Example, FSH, LH, prolactin, so many. Glucagon, insulin, all these are water soluble hormones. Epinephrine, norepinephrine and all. So don't think that all amino acid derivatives. Amino acid derivatives, in that one example, that is catecholamine. So if you go through the examples for this, examples for the lipid soluble, the first one is iodothioreins, iodothyroxine. Already you have seen thyroxine, T3 or T4 forms. They are produced in the thyroid gland, but they are derived from single amino acid, that is tyrosine. So catecholamines are derived from tryptophan, and thyroxine is derived from tyrosine. It's just nothing but an amino acid. So amino acid derivative is also example for water soluble, that is catecholamines. Amino acid derivative hormone, another one that is from tyrosine, nothing but iodothyroxine. This is also an example for lipid soluble. But all peptide and protein hormones are examples for water soluble. This is how you have to understand. And all steroid hormones. All steroid hormones. What are the steroid hormones? Cortisol, progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, estradiol. All these are lipid derivatives. As they are lipid made, easily they can cross the cell membrane, because cell membrane is made up of bilipid layer. Understand? So till the examples you practice. Now let me discuss how questions are coming by this concept. It's a little time. Suppose all lipid soluble hormones are steroid hormones. Is that correct? Go for the examples and look at here. Iodothyroxine is also there. That is not derived from lipid. That is derived from single amino acid. Then what is the question? All steroidal hormones are, all lipid soluble hormones are steroidal hormones. That is wrong. Why? Example, iodothyroxine is also there. Statement is wrong. Another statement. All steroidal hormones are lipid soluble hormones. What do you say? Right. Because all steroidal hormones are lipid soluble. But all lipid soluble are not steroidal. Why? Because beside it there is a iodothyroxine. This is how we have to observe keenly. Next kind of questions, if you see here, and all water soluble hormones are catecholamines. No, wrong. Catecholamines are water soluble. Next, all amino acid derivative hormones are water soluble. Wrong. Some of them are water soluble, some of them are lipid soluble. So this is how we have to isolate the examples according to the criteria and practice, so that easily you can answer. Next, all peptide hormones are water soluble. There is no doubt. All protein hormones are water soluble. All glycoprotein hormones are water soluble. But all water soluble hormones are not protein. Why? Because amino acid derivative is also there. So what are the steroid hormones? Name them. Testosterone. It is present in only males. Next, estrogen, progesterone, both are present in females. All these are made up of steroid, cholesterol derivatives. So they are lipid soluble. So no steroidal hormone is water soluble. And just before the session we had discussed that some water soluble hormones require secondary messenger. Secondary messenger is nothing but IP3, CAMP, calcium ions, all these are secondary messengers. So by any example in the question they may ask like, by which of the following hormonal action requires secondary messenger? In that option, either catecholamines or any peptide or protein derivative hormones should be present. If you find anything that is in the steroidal hormone or iodothyroxine, that would be wrong. Why? Question is, secondary messenger should be required for that. Secondary messenger should not be required here. So except this, anything will be the answer. And secondary, so which hormone actions can be interact with the nucleic material? Chromosome is nucleic material, no? So that's why hormone means any of the iodothyroxine or any steroidal hormone, their actions directly into the nucleic acid. So these kind of questions are happening, okay, very regularly in the pre-medical examinations, AIPMT, NEET and all. So instead of going with the notes, we have to prepare some kind of questions, the duration between the class and assignment, so that you can directly answer. Once you have to look the question, whenever you look the question, first there are the 4 options are there. In the 4 options, so many people are confusing the 2 of the answers or 2 of the options are similar to the your opinion. They may be a correct option or correct answer, where we have to confirm it because of your own notes. So prepare your own notes. Extension of this topic can be done in our classroom program. All the things which we are doing here is only for your basic abilities, so that you can catch up our classes very easily. Don't neglect and try to make up different twist by your own skills and attempt assignment very easily. Thank you. Next class I will be with you to discuss about the other and the last criteria about hormonal classification. Bye.